The next step, I was going to make the yoke part of it, or the throat. Thought about it, and I really need to make this, put the pack together so I see how big of an opening I have at the top of the pack. So that's this next stage, is putting all these pieces together and start sewing them together. So here's all the first 4 pieces. So here's the 4 pieces that I'm going to put together, and I'm going to do this before I make the throat or the yoke or whatever you call it, the top where you roll it down. But here's the bottom, here's the harness side, here's the front of the pack, here are the 2 sides, and this is where I've got to kind of pay attention to what I did or what my thoughts were, as far as I need a corresponding strap that goes with all these little hooks that I put on the wherever they go. So I've got to make sure I put those in. But let's start sewing these together. Start with the easiest stuff first, and then work my way up to the more cumbersome. So I'll probably do the sides, and then the front, and then the harness side. So this is just a matter of putting the 2 good sides, or the outside pieces, together. I've left an allowance for, a good 1/4 of an inch. I use the side of my sewing foot to guide me on these types of things. So, since I do have webbing and all kinds of things in there, it is thick. So I'm going to take my time, and I'll make my way through it. Lock that back. All I'm doing is just lining up all the pieces, taking my time. Oh, gotta slow that down a little bit and increase my length. There we go. Got a little too slow. All right, so we're gonna sew all these bits together, and this piece here, the harness, the back part, is probably the most cumbersome of all the pieces. And that would just, if I did that first, then I'd be having to deal with all this mess the whole time. So I'm going to start with the sides. This is the bottom, and these are the sides. So I'm going to put the sides on first, and it doesn't matter which side I put on, which side or whatever. That'll be the next move, and then I'll do the front of the pack next, and then the harness side. The first thing is the 2 sides onto the bottom. I'll just ride all the fabric on this side of the foot. If I've got a little bit of frays and all that kind of stuff, I just kind of double check it so I can clean all that up later. Right down here to the end. Back that up. Okay. Now I'll keep going, and I will get all those pieces on. So one thing I've got to do is, I have on the bottom of my pack, I want to have some type of strapping system. Mainly, you'd see it used for like a foam sleep mat or something like that. So I thought I'd put that on there as well. So this is like all experiment, adding things, doing everything kind of seeing what I like or don't like. There's also where the bottom where I put a raincoat thing. So would I use that? If I had a raincoat in there, would I have a sleep mat also? I don't know, but it's just fun. So I've already put these. I put these on the front, as well as the side compression straps and my bear bag, my bear canister strap system on there already. But I do have to have the other side. So I've got this point where I'm sewing the pack together. This is where I need to put some straps down here that will connect up to there. One thing I've learned is don't skimp on the strapping. I mean, go ahead and make it actually fairly long, because when you're kind of doing all these things and sewing and folding and doing all those, it's a lot easier to just have a long piece and then cut it back eventually than to go the other way. So I know I've got a few ones that are probably going to be just enough length, but I might have to figure out how to add length to some strapping, which is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So that's just my little tip. Cinch those down a little bit. So I will connect those when I sew on the very back, the harness side, and they'll just be adjoining to where this other clip side is. And I'll have those done and have the bottom sewn together. It's when you get, so it's all sewn on this is the bottom. So this is the bottom and it's all sewn on. And you get these little flaps. And people that are like really good seamstresses, they could do what's called a flat felt seam. So basically you turn this inside out, then you fold it over again, and then you sew down. You get a real nice clean edge on it. I'm just not that good of a sewer, and so looking at some of my other packs, if this is my trail, so that's actually a flat felled seam right there. So they just folded it over. So I'm going to do that on my throat as well. Like if you look on the inside of this pack, they've done that binding tape, which is what I did on my back part. And so basically inside of here is those flaps that are need to be finished. So I'm going to try something a little bit different because this is what I'm doing. I'm doing different stuff. So I'm a big fan of tenacious tape. So I'm going to use tenacious tape, which will help me waterproof my bag. But I will put tenacious tape across it. I'll cut it so it's nice and clean. And I'll put tenacious tape across that. And tenacious tape works really well. I've had really good luck with it. So that's my next stage. And I'm also doing tenacious tape, like right here where I attached my backpack. I'll put tenacious tape on there too. Anything to keep the water from coming through those little sew areas. Just did some preliminary sewing. Now what I have to do is get the shoulder strap anchor point sewn in, and just go in down here at the bottom. So that will go like that. Then I've got another anchor point strap that I've got to also get in there. So I will just work my way along and sew it all in. But now it's getting kind of thick, so my good old home sewing machine is going to be pushed to its limit. All right, so hopefully I got everything in there that I wanted in there. Let's turn it inside out, the right side out. And there we have the backpack. So now the next part is to put the throat on it. But I've got all the corresponding, it looks like I may have missed one. So I'll have, oh, there it is. So there's so here's some compression straps. I'll cut these down. Compression strap. These, if you don't remember from earlier ones, that's something that I think it's not Osprey. It's one of it's for holding your trekking poles. And when you do photography, it'd be really nice. Got all the straps on for under there. The bag on. And got all my shoulder straps and other strapping. This will all be trimmed down once I get it, but it's starting to take shape. So next thing I'll do is the throat, and you know, it's really interesting. This LS1 fabric is it cuts real easily. It's super light. It's supposed to be super strong, but we'll see. We'll see. So all right. Well, thanks a lot, and off to the next step. See you on the trail. Bye now.